Hello, everybody. I wanted to take a little bit of time and walk you through the course culminating task for ENG4U. And apologies, I sound a bit congested right now because I have a pretty gross cold. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Um, but luckily, you can't catch my germs through the video camera. So that's a good thing, right? Okay. So if you click on content, Wi-Fi is working a little faster today now that nobody's at school. Um, you won't be able to see all of the options that I can see on my screen. You're going to have some of these units on the left-hand side here that are not visible, but you do have access to Unit 5. And so that is what I want you to, or you will have access, excuse me, to Unit 5 once you have finished the orientation. And honestly, if you haven't finished the orientation yet, don't even watch this video. Turn it off now. You could always watch it again later once you're done the orientation. So I'm assuming you're done the orientation. And now I am going to take you through here one step at a time. So the first thing that you are going to see will be, let me just see here. Oh, I need to walk back a step here. There we go. The blog. So one of the first things you're going to do in this course is you're going to set up a blog. And the main reason why you need it, you'll use it a couple times throughout the other units, but the main reason why you need it is because in Unit 5, you are going to be reading a novel, and as you read, you're going to be writing a series of blog posts. So this activity basically takes you through your reading choices, and there are a lot of different choices here. There is a mixture of fiction and nonfiction, and please choose from this list. Okay, there are lots of different options here for you, but I want you to choose from this list. The links here will take you to Goodreads, which will give you lots of different reviews of the different books, and it should give you a sense of what you'd like to read. Then, once you've chosen your book, it says go to the assignment area and complete assignment 1. And what assignment 1 basically is just telling me what book you want to read. And it's not really about, there might be something in here I think about getting approval to start reading the book. There isn't really an approval process. Basically, if it's one of these books, you're approved, so go ahead. Now, for blog posts. So in Unit 1, Activity 1, you are going to be looking at the purpose and features of a blog post. So don't freak out yet. I'm going to take you through how to set it up step by step. In your blog, I'm telling you, here are the different things that you should be writing about. Okay, and here's the criteria for what you should have in a blog post. I'm not going to read through it all right now. You're also going to be required to comment on each other's blog posts because I want you to see what other people are reading and see what other people think about what they're reading, because you're going to have the same topics for each of your blog posts. But obviously, if somebody is writing about topic A for a totally different book than you, it'll be interesting to see what the differences and similarities are. Okay, and then when you go to the assignment area for that particular lesson, you've got 2. So here's the Dropbox for your book choice, and here is the Dropbox for your very first blog post. And in your very first blog post, you are going to be applying reader response literary theory. One of the first activities that we do in Unit 1, or actually I guess it's towards the end of Unit 1, but Unit 1 is short, is we go through 4 main types of literary criticism. And you are going to be writing a blog post for 3 different types of literary criticism. So I'm going to be giving you guys an article to read once we get to that unit that tells you basically what literary criticism is and why we want you to use literary criticism when analyzing your texts, and why we want you to adopt different perspectives for the same text. So I won't get into all of that right now, but just know that part of the process here is going to be writing a series of blog posts as you read your book. Okay? And then I've got the assessment criteria here. Okay. Then here's the topic for your second blog post. So you are applying archetypal literary theory, and I give you some guidelines for things to talk about. Then I have activity or assignment 4, which is blog post number 3, where you're going to choose either feminist or post-colonial literary theory. But something to keep in mind is that there are a couple books where it may also be relevant for you to look at eco-criticism, which is another theory that we haven't actually talked about really so far in this course, but I will talk to you about if you choose one of the other books where that's relevant. Okay, and then your final blog post is basically you assessing which of the 3 theories you wrote about gave you the most insight in the book. You are not writing about, which literary theory is superior to the other literary theories. It's not about that. It's just about which point of view was the most revealing for your particular book. Okay? And I share an office, so you just saw somebody walk in probably, or possibly in the background. I don't think they knew the camera was on. Okay, so the next activity is talking about planning your portfolio. Your course culminating task is a portfolio. A portfolio is a collection of your work. And so in this activity, I explain what different types of portfolios are. And your portfolio, you are going to put together in a web page. There are a bunch of different options for that. So we've listed a few down here. There are separate drop boxes for each of the different components of your portfolio. But I think one of the things I need to add is ultimately we need a Dropbox just for the URL for your portfolio. And that doesn't exist yet. I'm going to create one. When you go to the assignment area, click, there we go. Loading. Okay. When you go to the assignment area, you're going to be asked to generate a thesis statement. Now, just don't freak out because this won't happen for a very long time still. But I still want you to think about it before it comes time for you to hand in your thesis statement. So you are creating a thesis statement for your portfolio. Basically, I am asking you to analyze, once you've gone through the 3 different blog posts and you've chosen the theory that you think provides the most insight, you are going to analyze your entire book using that particular literary theory. And you are going to create a series of texts for your portfolio. You're going to create an essay, you're going to create a remix, which is a multimedia piece, and you're going to create a podcast, which is basically you talking. And for this particular assignment, what I'm asking you to do is generate a thesis statement for the entire portfolio. So if you think about me asking you this question, what interesting, surprising thing did your particular theory reveal about your text that other theories wouldn't? And your answer to that question would be your thesis statement for the portfolio. Now, that doesn't mean that becomes your thesis statement for the podcast, for the remix, and for the essay. So this is where things get a little bit complicated. Basically, those 3 pieces, an essay, a podcast, and a multimedia remix, work together to support your thesis statement. So you might be used to creating thesis statements that have sort of 3 parts to them. That would be useful for this. Because if you think about it, your remix could support one aspect of your thesis, your podcast could support another, and your essay could support another. So that's something that might be helpful to know before you ever get to this point, that kind of looking at a 3-part thesis would be very helpful. I gave you here just because I felt like last semester my students didn't have a solid enough grasp of what it was that I was looking for. So I've rewritten this page here. And I've given you an exemplar of a thesis. So I wrote this. When analyzing the play Hamlet from a feminist perspective, it becomes clear that Shakespeare depicts women as subversively strong. Both Gertrude and Ophelia attempt to take charge of their own destinies, even though they are ultimately unsuccessful. And then I've given you an outline of the kinds of pieces that I might create for my portfolio. So hopefully that helps make it clearer for you what the expectation is. Okay, I've only got 27 seconds left in this video. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here, because assignment 2 is your portfolio plan, where you basically outline what those different pieces are going to be. And then when we get to assignment 3, we're just looking at writing the draft for those different pieces. So that's probably all you need to know for now.